If you've ever looked at a cruise ship deck plan and thought, I have no idea what I'm doing, you're not alone.
Today, we're breaking down exactly how to pick the perfect cruise ship cabin.
When we choose a specific room, when we let the cruise line decide for us, and the cabin types that are actually worth the money, and the locations and features we personally avoid every single time.
By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which cabin makes sense for your cruise style and which ones to skip.
Let's dive in. Welcome to World Wanderers.
We're Alicia and Will.
Come wander the world with us.
We cruise multiple times a year and we genuinely love it.
And because we cruise so often, we've learned that not every cruise should be booked the same way.
We're actually leaving for a Virgin Voyages cruise to the Caribbean in just a few days.
Right, and we just got back from a celebrity cruise to Norway, which ended up using the complete opposite cabin strategy.
Yeah, the Norway cruise was definitely a bucket list trip for us, so we knew we wanted to choose a very specific cabin.
Right, we booked an aft-facing balcony because we wanted to see off both sides of the ship and not miss a single moment of the fjords we were sailing through.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those cruises where picking the exact cabin you want was absolutely worth the price.
Right, but for this Caribbean cruise, we decided to do the exact opposite.
While we love a balcony, it doesn't make or break a Caribbean cruise for us.
Right, there was a great deal on Virgin's Lock It In Inside Guaranteed cabin rate.
This is where you don't get to choose your room and it's assigned a couple of days before sailing.
Right, we chose that option knowing it was a gamble, but the price difference was big enough that it made sense.
And we never count on upgrades, but if you understand how the system works, they do happen fairly often.
Right. When you don't choose a specific cabin, you give the cruise line complete freedom to place you wherever they need to.
Most cruisers pick an exact room, and once they do that, the cruise line isn't moving them.
Right. Guaranteed cabins are filled in last after all the specific staterooms are assigned.
So when all the inside cabins are gone, the cruise line has to start upgrading those guaranteed bookings.
Right. So in our case, that gamble paid off big time.
Yeah, we ended up with a double upgrade and landed a balcony cabin instead of the inside or even an ocean view.
Right. All because we gave the cruise line the freedom to put us anywhere.
This is something that actually happens to us fairly often.
Right. So if you're easygoing, choosing a guaranteed cabin can be really rewarding.
Yeah, this happened on a MSC cruise in Brazil as well.
Right. So it's not just the lowest level tier rooms. It happens at a higher level one because both us and my parents that went on that vacation booked regular balcony rooms through different reservations on different booking websites. And we actually were both upgraded to a suite with a private jacuzzi on the balcony. And that was independently. So it definitely happens to multiple people per cruise.
Yeah, they were very nice rooms and a very nice upgrade.
Right.
The first decision you have to make is what type of cabin you want.
And just like everything else with cruising, we weigh this based on the price and the destination.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all answer here.
Right. But the main pros and cons are things that we always think about.
Yeah, let's start with the inside cabins.
Inside cabins are great if you want to sleep late and have all the light blocked out because there's no windows.
They're usually the best price option.
Right. And they make a lot of sense if you plan to be out and about doing tons of activities all day and night anyway.
Next up is an ocean view cabin.
This is usually worth a small upgrade for us so we can tell what time of day it is outside.
Having that natural light can make a big difference.
And honestly, an obstructed view is just as good for this in our opinion.
Right, there might be a lifeboat blocking your entire view in this case, but it still lets in that natural light and it's totally worth it for a small upgrade fee of like $50 or so.
Right. And then there are the balcony cabins.
These are perfect if you like to sit outside, read a book, and drink your coffee in the morning.
It's also really nice to be able to step outside and immediately see what the weather is like.
This is our sweet spot and what we normally choose if the price isn't really expensive.
I'll definitely pay a bit more for ships like Virgin, which have a hammock out there, or balconies that are deep enough to have a full-size lounger on them.
Suites are also another option that might make sense, especially if you're traveling with a larger family or group, but they do come at a premium price.
Once we decide to pick a specific cabin, location on the ship matters just as much as cabin type.
This is where looking at the deck map can really save you from a bad experience.
One of the first things we always check is what is directly above our cabin.
Yeah, we try to avoid cabins that's right below a nightclub or a late night bar.
Right, or any kind of loud venues, because if you're sensitive to noise, this is going to be really important.
We also avoid cabins that are right next to the elevators.
The elevators themselves are usually not loud, but the foot traffic and the conversations late at night are definitely going to be loud.
Another thing we avoid is front-facing balconies.
Yes, we have learned this the hard way because sometimes they look really great on the map. They're often L-shaped and way larger than a normal balcony for the same price.
But they can be extremely windy even on calm sea days.
Right. One cruise we went on was so bad that our deck chairs were constantly getting lifted into the air and slamming against the walls. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was awful and completely unusable. The ship was moving.
Right. The same goes for balcony bump outs.
They look amazing on the map, but they also catch a lot of wind.
So basically, if it looks like you'd be able to stand on your balcony and see where the ship is heading, you want to avoid it.
We're also cautious with front-facing ocean view cabins.
Right. A lot of people assume you're just looking straight out at the ocean.
Many of these cabins actually look out over a crew area or equipment area and then have the ocean out beyond that.
Right. So you do get the light and you technically do have a view of the ocean, but it's not really the view you're expecting or think of when you think of an ocean view cabin.
On the flip side, there are also cabin locations and features that we actively look for if they're available.
Right. One of our top choices is a balcony at the back of the ship.
Aft balconies are usually quieter and the views are great.
Yeah, you often get a wider view of the wake.
They tend to feel more private compared to the midship balconies.
Right. The only downside we did talk about is sometimes you get the fallout from the smokestack, which you'll get things on the balcony a little bit dirty. But in those cases, I normally just lay a towel out on
like
the
a little bit of
loungers.
black particulate, and yeah, you wouldn't want to leave your suit out where that could fall on it.
Another thing we intentionally choose is an obstructed view ocean view cabin.
For a small price difference, it feels way less claustrophobic than an inside cabin.
And like we said, you still get that natural light and you can tell what time of day it is, even if part of your view is blocked.
We also think about accessibility and convenience.
Right. If somebody in our party has mobility issues, being closer to the elevator can actually be a great choice.
It means less walking down the long hallways, and you don't have to constantly navigate around the housekeeping carts that are parked outside of cabins.
Right. And no matter what cabin type or location you choose, there are a few things we always check before booking.
These apply to every cabin on the ship.
Right. One thing to think about is where the bed is positioned in the room.
Some cabins have the bed closer to the balcony, and others have it closer to the door.
This can affect noise, light, and how the room feels overall.
Since rooms usually alternate to maximize space, about half the cabins have the bed by the window, and that's our preference.
Right. It's a small detail, but this is a choice we make when we can.
We also avoid cabins with connecting doors if we're not traveling with the other room.
Right. Sound travels so easily through those doors, even when they're locked.
Another thing to consider is which deck you're on.
Being closer to the buffet or main public areas is super convenient, especially when there are long waits for elevators.
So choosing a high deck might make the most sense for you.
But if you're sensitive to like motion sickness or are worried about getting seasick, then the lower decks tend to feel more stable.
Yes, and being closer to the center of the ship usually also means less rocking.
On mega ships, we also check for balcony bump outs.
Some of these look great on the deck plan, but nearby balconies may be able to see directly into your room.
Right. So it's always worth zooming in on the map and double checking sight lines.
When in doubt, we'll type in our exact room number on YouTube and see if anyone has posted a tour.
And even if they haven't, the same room directly above your room or below your room or even next door may be available in a YouTube video, and that'll give you the same general idea.
There's one takeaway from this video. It's that there's no single perfect cruise cabin.
Right. The best choice depends on the ship, the destination, and how you actually plan to spend your time.
Sometimes it'll be worth choosing a very specific cabin. Sometimes letting the cruise line decide for you can work out even better.
Hopefully this helped you feel more confident looking at a deck plan and booking your next cruise.
If you found this helpful, please give the video a thumbs up.
It really helps our channel and lets us know to make more cruise content like this.
If you have any cabin booking criteria we didn't mention, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your perspective.
And make sure you're subscribed for more cruise tips, travel guides, and honest advice from people who love to cruise a lot.
We'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching and safe travels.